Okay, so today we're going to talk about mediation, what it is and how we get there. And I'm going to talk about it from perspectives. One being a litigant, because I am a litigant. I'm a litigator. I represent injured people in workers' compensation cases, but also as a mediator. I'm a mediator and an arbitrator, so I go in and help people resolve their differences. Mediation is nothing more than a settlement conference. And so the question really is, how do we get there and what does it mean? So normally in mediation, you get there one of two ways. One, voluntarily, because you agree with the other side, in this in workers' comp, the insurance company, to sit down and try to settle the case, because that's what mediation is. Again, it's a settlement conference. The other way to get there is by somebody filing a trial request. Normally, that's me or my client, and the trial request is nothing more than saying, "Hey, law," or "Hey, judge, we need you to get involved because we have a disagreement with the insurance company." And part of the process of getting to trial is going to mediation. The judges started that about 25, 30 years ago because we were filing too many claims for the limited number of judges that we have to hear them all. And so they said, "Hey, you guys, you litigants, you parties, you need to sit down across the table from one another and try to resolve your differences before you come to trial." And that's what mediation is, and that's how mediation was born. Before you get to mediation, you have to go through the discovery process, and discovery is nothing more than each side asking each other questions and for information, like for medical records, for wage records, for employment documents, for witness statements. Basically, it's everyone needs to be on the same page, both the injured worker in workers' comp cases and the insurance company. Everybody needs to have the same information. There's no hiding the ball in litigation. There's no hiding the ball in trial, regardless of what you've seen on TV. There's none of those aha, gotcha moments. So any other evidence that needs to be shared before you get to mediation and certainly before you get to trial. You can expect to be in mediation about 3 to 5 months after you start the process. Starting the process meaning one, voluntarily agreeing to go to mediation, or two, someone filing a trial request. So who's going to be there? So you're going to be there with your lawyer. If that's me, me. There's going to be a mediator there, which may also be me if I'm not your trial lawyer, but I'm hired as the mediator. The mediator is a neutral, not a judge, just a neutral party, normally a lawyer, who's there to help buffer in between the two sides. So you and your lawyer will be there. The insurance company and their lawyer will be there. Oftentimes, it's just the lawyer for the insurance company, but sometimes the employer representative shows up. Sometimes the adjuster shows up. Um, Sometimes it's somebody else from the employer shows up, but most of the time, it's just you, meaning the injured worker, your lawyer, the mediator, again, who's a neutral, and the insurance lawyer. Those are normally the people who are there. You should plan to be there about 2 to 4 hours. The shortest mediation I ever had was 15 minutes. The longest one about 7 to 8 hours. Neither of those settled. Most cases go about 2 to 4 hours in the mediation process, and they almost always start at either 10 a.m. or 2 p.m. Keep in mind that this is very informal. The rules of evidence and procedure and the rules of court do not apply in mediation. Mediation is not court. You don't have to dress up. You're not going to be put on the witness stand. And there is no judge. No one's forcing anyone to make a decision. No one's forcing anyone to pay or accept money. The mediator is there who controls the room, but the only ability the mediator has is to keep everyone at the negotiating table as long as the two are making progress. So again, this is not court. A lot of my clients show up afraid that they're going to be questioned. That's not what mediation is about. Mediation is about sitting across the table from someone you disagree with and trying to resolve your disagreements. So how does it work? Normally, you as the injured worker will remain quiet in the beginning. Uh, the opening session is when everyone is together at the table. Sometimes some people are over Zoom on video. Sometimes everyone is in person, just literally sitting around the conference room table. The opening session is where the mediator learns about the case. The mediator doesn't know anything about the case, the injured worker, or the employer other than names. The mediator finds out during the opening session how both sides see the case. First, from the injured worker's attorney, and then from the insurance and the employer attorney. And guess what? They're not going to be the same. If the insurance company and the injured worker saw the case the same, none of the lawyers would be involved and you wouldn't be in mediation. You'd have gone through the mediation, you'd have gone through the workers' comp process without any of this. So after the opening session, which lasts somewhere between 5 to 10 minutes normally, that's again when the mediator learns about the case. After that, the mediator splits the sides apart. The injured worker and the injured worker's attorney go into one room, and the insurance lawyer and anyone the insurance lawyer brought go into another room. And the two sides don't see each other again, but they do see the mediator because he or she bounces back and forth between the two rooms. And that's when the negotiation begins, when you're in the private session. And that's where most of the time is spent. Of the 2 to 4 hours you're going to spend in mediation, 90% of it is spent in private session, either just with your lawyer or with your lawyer and the mediator in the room. And this negotiation isn't about getting a weekly check or getting medical treatment or forcing the insurance company to do something. It's almost always about money, it's about dollars. Ultimately, the insurance company will offer the injured worker money to settle the case. And if it's enough, then you settle. And if it's not, then the mediator calls an impasse, which is just a fancy term for y'all didn't agree. And the injured worker and the injured worker's lawyer and the insurance lawyer and the employer move forward normally to trial. What happens after the mediation? Again, if you settle, you will sign documents at mediation. They're a short set of documents, but they're binding, meaning you're stuck with them. Both sides are stuck with them, so you need to be darn sure before you sign them. After mediation, a larger set, and the mediator will provide that short set of documents, and the lawyers will explain to each party what the documents mean before they're signed. After the mediation, usually within about 2 weeks, a larger set of documents will come and you'll sign those because those are the ones that go to the court. Workers' compensation settlements have to be court approved. So the larger set comes to your injured worker's attorney. You and the injured worker and the lawyer sign it, send it back to the insurance lawyer. He or she signs it, and then it goes to the judge for approval, and you wait for approval. The approval comes in the form of a one-page order, and it's signed by the judge saying, I think this settlement is fair and just to both sides. I approve it. From that date until the date insurance company is required to pay you is 24 days. There's some penalties after that that I'm not going to discuss, but you can discuss with your lawyer. Generally, if you settle between the date of mediation, the day you settle, and the day you see money is about 45 to 60 days. A lot of that is going to be used up in the drafting of documents and waiting for the judge to approve the settlement. If you don't settle, then the impasse is called. You're going to be in court. Assuming you got to mediation because you were marching towards court, you're going to be in court within 2 months. So if you have mediation in May, July is probably going to be your court date in front of a judge, no jury, just a judge. And that judge is generally going to make a decision about 9 months after the mediation. Yep, that's a long time. That's just how long it takes to get there. Mediation is your best chance to get your case settled. Here's why. Everyone is paying attention to the injured worker and the insurance company at the same time on the same date. You, your lawyer, the other side's lawyer, the insurance company, the employer, there's a mediator there to help you. Everyone's paying attention at the same time. After that, you're likely not to get that much attention paid to your case until you get to trial. So everyone needs to work really hard at mediation to settle the case at mediation. That's the overview. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, or if you have a lawyer, feel free to reach out to your lawyer. Otherwise, thanks for listening.